Melissa, 2 years later, and these messages like this one, thank you, Heather, for standing up to hate, are brand new. She hasn't ever seen anything like this with the winds and the trees down before. I'm gonna actually step out of the shot just so you can take a better look at it. Gene, please tell us there have been 12 total homicides so far this year. These balloons right here are honoring the latest victim, 31-year-old Aubrey Belcher, who was found inside this garage, his place of work. This level of training isn't for beginners. Every single person inside has at least a decade of experience. So this right here is a little bumpier. Right now I am on top of Susie. Susie is a 12-year-old camel. The intensity of the explosion broke windows of nearby businesses and woke up folks that live right around the corner 2 miles away. Organizers tell me that this is one of the best weekends that they've had as far as the forecast goes in over 10 years. As I was getting video, Gene, I could definitely feel it. It's cool, comfortable out here. Great activities for the kids. Just a great weekend all the way around. It's a sad outcome for something neighbors have been concerned about for weeks. Multiple phone calls to the landlord of the apartment complex where it happened and to police. This is the cage where a German Shepherd was found dead inside Tuesday evening. The owners, Sarah Simmerly and Michael Bowling, are both now facing felony animal cruelty charges.
Cruelty cases like this, they're more a rarity.
Edmond Street is where it took place. Several neighbors here knew something wasn't quite right.
You know, it smelled like it was some dead animal or something else going on around it, and it would not go away. So I was cleaning up and doing different stuff around here.
Sparkle Page's mom lives right next to the apartment complex. Paige is an animal lover.
I have a dog and a cat at home, and they're family.
So when she heard that the dog was howling at all hours of the night, she did the only thing she knew to do several weeks ago.
This was around mid-May when it started, and I called and someone was supposed to come out, but I don't think anyone ever did.
We have learned that we did receive from a neighbor. She did the right thing, and she called us between the 18th and 21st of May.
According to Paige, the dog would dig under the fence that separates Simmerly and Bowling's home from her mom's. Her kids were the ones to tell her the dog didn't make it Wednesday evening.
They told me that they said, we think the dog is dead. They said it's flies flying around it and it's not moving in the cage.
According to court documents, when officers arrived, the dog appeared to be malnourished and neglected, and it looked like it had been dead for a while.
We've learned that we probably could have handled that better, and we're addressing that internally.
I felt really bad because I did all that I could to try to help the dog, and I think that the dog could have been saved.
Thankfully, 2 other animals found at the same home were saved. This Doberman and this bunny rabbit. Both are safe at the Humane Society. It's a beautiful day on the Dan River. The water behind me is calm, the levels are normal, and the health of the overall river better than it was 5 years ago.
It was a big issue, believe me.
February 2nd, 2014. Passerbys noticed a gray hue in the Dan. The spill was quickly discovered.
This is one of our greatest natural assets here in Danville, so we were concerned of what this meant for not only currently, but also for the future.
But the ash was exempted by Congress from federal waste management regulations in the 1970s. After the spill, new EPA rules changed that. Senate Bill 1533 wants to go a step further.
It sinks to the bottom, and it's covered over by silt. But as the river's turbulent, or we have floods, some of it comes up, so they're still out there.
As proposed, the bill will require owners of any coal combustion residuals or CCR units located in the Chesapeake Bay watershed to close the units through recycling or lined landfills. While the legislation is a start, there are concerns.
These state-of-the-art lined pits, well, they get about a 100-year guarantee. So that's good for now, but what happens downstream to your children or your children's children?
For now, though, the river has been and continues to be clean enough for recreation and to provide water for the city.
For all indicators right now, the river is doing well.
It all starts with the laces. There's some stretching.
All right, I'm ready.
And then...
Okay, ready?
One foot after the other. Steve Scott doesn't start out slow. He jumps right into pace, keeping a cadence that won't take him to the end of the block or a trail. It'll take him from one end of the world to the next.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Crazy, insane, superhuman. He's heard all the adjectives. In 1 year, he'll complete the World Marathon Challenge. 7 marathons, 7 days, 7 continents.
Train, sleep, work, eat, every day. It's a routine.
A routine that started from another word, cancer.
I was diagnosed with cancer in 2016.
This is Jenna Belcher. She and Scott crossed paths when Scott was still contemplating 777. Belcher had just made the decision to run her first marathon.
I was told by my doctor that my treatment was going to be more like a marathon, not like a sprint.
Scott has also been touched by the disease. His mom, a 43-year survivor. So that day, when the two ran into each other, he decided he wasn't going to stop running.
People are in the hospital fighting for cancer and things like that, and we get up sometimes and we complain. It's just to my heart, you know, cancer's real.
Belcher and Scott still have a lot of training left. She'll run his last marathon with him in Miami. They'll cross the finish line together, both completing unimaginable feats. A mother's love is like a tattoo. Permanent. It's a love that knows no bounds. Megan Johnson's love for her little sidekick Jackson is limitless. So when she got the worst news,
it was a pretty big panic moment. I couldn't breathe. I didn't know what I was doing, where I was going.
Time stopped. Megan needed to get to the hospital. Jackson had been attacked by a dog.
The first time I saw him, no, they were actually holding me. They picked me up off the floor the very first time I saw him after the accident.
Since May 26, Jackson has endured 2 months in the hospital. Many of his surgeries were reconstructive, but he still does not have a top lip. But on July 25th, he said goodbye to his hospital room, and he headed back home, fearless and ready to attack life, starting by playing with his puppy Gypsy.
If it's a random dog, fine, but his dogs, I'm glad that he's not scared of his dogs.
The word scared isn't in Jackson's vocabulary. From slides to trucks, he's embracing a new normal.
Mainly, his everyday, being home, it's not much different, except he gets frustrated. He has to wear the mask and the hat everywhere he goes, and that's just to keep his skin grafts protected from the sun.
There's a few more scars, some tubes.
He does have a feeding tube, and he has his trach. And he doesn't like his trach because he has to sleep on an air machine at night, and that drives him crazy because it's loud.
But his personality...
Here, I'll hold it. You can put it in.
That stayed the same.
There you go. He's blown me away so far with, for one, how much he remembers of everything, and for two, how unfazed he is by it. Because I'm more worried about it than he is, honestly.
And for her warrior,
I got that done on the back of mine.
Megan adds another tattoo on her ear, since Jackson is now without one. A mother's love. Well, Jackson is far from being out of the woods. Later this month, he'll have the reconstructive surgery for his top lip. But if you'd like to support Jackson's journey, you can do so this Saturday at the Berglund Center. Speed Trend Society is putting on a car show and a Hot Wheels race for kids. It starts at 6 p.m. and it goes till 10. All of the money raised will go toward medical bills. In the studio, Ashley Bowles, WDBJ 7.